I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty land can never be purged away but with blood. John Brown, 1859. I bring you this conversation, boys and ghouls, but to discuss the matter of abortion, and more to the point, the laws being passed in several states, including New York, that allows them to abort a baby right up to the day of its birth. Every civilization that has ever been has been judged and will be judged by how it treats the weakest and most vulnerable of its number. If that's the case, then we have a lot to answer for here in the United States. And this whole "they're not human" argument that has been used as an excuse for every genocide from the time of the Romans onward. It fueled the ovens of Nazi Germany. It fueled the extermination of the Caribbean Indians. It spurred every act of genocide that has ever been. And now it's here. The slavery of 100 years ago is the abortion of today, boys and ghouls. How can these people protest in front of a prison when a man is about to be executed for shooting up a convenience store and killing people, and yet are perfectly fine with executing someone who has not done them any harm? Justice, as they say, belongs to all men, or it belongs to none. This is execution without due process. This is a complete disrespect of the law. This embodies the uneven application of the rules. And for what? Because these people think it's convenient to kill babies. Now, I heard Pastor Greg Locke speaking on abortion, and I agree with much of what he said. I do disagree on one point, that he didn't go far enough with Planned Parenthood. Personally, I think they ought to not only defund them to shut them down forever, I think they ought to take every technician that is working for them and try them for every death that they have caused since 1973, I believe it was. When I believe Roe v. Wade, it might have been 73, 74. When they push this. Try them. If they do, there would be a gallows from one end of this country to the other. A short drop and a sudden stop for the lot of them. Or if you really wanted to have the punishment fit the crime, perhaps draw and quarter them, rip them to pieces, just like they are those innocent souls that they've been attacking. This is the execution of innocent people. This is the murder of the innocents. This is the murder of the helpless, and we all know where this goes. Goes back to eugenics. Margaret Sanger, she said this at the beginning, that she wanted to get rid of minorities. So, congratulations, Democrats. All you're doing is precisely what you're claiming you're not doing. And eventually they'll figure you out. And when they do, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. I'm hoping they're watching now. Now, that being said, kudos on some of the states out there that are protecting the unborn. And this is where the John Brown quote comes in. If we are not careful, the battle lines will be drawn, and it'll be abortion versus life. Human death versus human life. And the question is, there will be no middle ground. There is no moderation here. Either you're against killing babies or you're for it. There is no middle ground. So the question for you is where do you stand? If you stand for abortion in any form, then you are for death. You are for killing the unborn for no good reason. If you are for life, then you will be for life. And any person who goes to church on Sunday and says praise Jesus and then goes home and says that they support Planned Parenthood is a liar. They're lying somewhere. The Bible is, particularly the New Testament, is rife with statements saying to love and cherish the children. And that's another point. The left, they want to get rid of guns for the children. But then they have no problem. They don't want school shooters, they claim. There's a whole other kettle of fish on that one, on what I think on that. But then they turn around and they want to murder unborn babies in a place where babies can't even escape. At least the children could, in theory, run and get out of the building. Where does an unborn child go? It is cowardly to kill a helpless human being who has no chance of defense, who has no chance of escape, and has no advocate, apparently. Not only that, but you are working against the most fundamental... I'm getting worked up. The most fundamental relationship between two human beings, mother and child. How dare you attempt to destroy the family like this? New York, you have a lot to answer for. And you being right on the coast, ooh. When God Almighty decides he wants to when he gets tired of your shenanigans, ooh, I would not want to be in Manhattan. You guys had 9/11. And it didn't teach you a thing. You are a wicked state. You are full of wickedness. You have elected bad leaders. And your bad leaders are going to get you into trouble if you are not careful. To the rest of New York, upstate New York, I understand there's a lot of good folks in that area. Stop letting New York decide things for you. Defy them. Defy them at every turn. I know that's difficult because New York City probably has as much as the rest of New York combined. Maybe New York needs to be a state off to itself. Let it self-destruct in peace and let the rest of New York go quietly. But this has to stop. The deaths of unborn children have to stop. It is execution without due process. It is a violation of the law. Like I said, it embodies the unequal application of the law that some people's lives are worth more than others. And these Democrats, they always want to say equality, equality, equality. They don't believe in equality. If they believed in equality, they'd stop trying to malign white men, Christians, white people in general, men in general. And they would stop trying to kill babies. But at the end of the day, it's all for them about depopulating because they know there's going to be a whole new they're trying to bring in a whole new population anyways. In some ways, it reminds me very much of the plot of The Lion King. Scar wanted apparently to replace the lions with the hyenas. It's a similar scheme. It's the same scheme that's being worked in Europe, and there's got to be a puppet master behind all of this. So, when the Civil War comes, New York, this is on you. Change your ways. What are you doing? Justice belongs to all men, or it belongs to none. Now, this is Dr. Von Mad with Von Mad's Venom, signing off.